In our next class, we'll be introducing some new trigonometric functions and talking about their graphs. We've previously defined the functions sine and cosine using a unit circle. It's a circle with radius 1, so that if we have some angle alpha formed from baseline, then the point on the circle x, y, where that terminal side intersects the circle, has the definition sine of alpha equals y, and cosine of that angle alpha equals x. Similarly, we can define four new functions on the same unit circle. Tangent, so that tangent of alpha equals y divided by x. Cotangent, so that cotangent of alpha equals x over y. Secant, where secant of alpha equals 1 over x. And finally, cosecant, where cosecant of alpha equals 1 over y. We can also define these trig functions in terms of other trig functions based on the definitions on our last slide. Remember, sine of alpha equals y, and cosine of alpha equals x. Therefore, our definition of tangent, being equal to y over x, is the same thing as sine over cosine. Similarly, cotangent, which is x over y, is the same thing as cosine over sine, and we can double check that this is actually equal to 1 over tangent as well. Finally, secant alpha, 1 over x, that's the same thing as 1 over cosine, and cosecant, 1 over y, that's the same thing as 1 over sine. We can use these definitions to find the values of our trig functions for the angle alpha equals pi over 4. Remember, pi over 4 on our unit circle is the angle that creates a 45-degree from our baseline. And we know that our x and y coordinates are equal to root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. Therefore, let's do some math. Sine of pi over 4, that's our y coordinate, root 2 over 2. Cosine of pi over 4, that's our x coordinate, it's also root 2 over 2. Our first new function, tangent alpha is y over x. That's the same thing as root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2. It's the angle divided by itself, which is 1. Cotangent alpha, that's x over y. It's the same thing. Root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is 1. Let's take a look at, let's do secant. Secant of pi over 4. Secant we defined as 1 over x. That's 1 over root 2 over 2, which is the same thing as 2 over root 2. This is just the square root of 2. And similarly, cosecant of pi over 4, that's the same thing as 1 over y. 1 over root 2 over 2 is also root 2. So given an arbitrary angle, as long as we know the x and y coordinates, we can use those to find all 6 trig functions of that angle.